todos los coños black de mí te tengo
Now we're gonna jump into it. We've done it every week. I mean, I'm not sure how well we're actually doing, but we've done it every week.
We have to go back and look.
We'd have to really go back and check it out. But, I mean, if one of y'all 5 viewers want to check us,
if someone would let us know. We're still waiting on a comment.
For all we know, we've won somebody a meal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll start off with how I'm going to give you a couple expensive players from each position, a couple cheaper players from each position. But on the expensive side, I mean, all the Aaron Rodgers. Jordy's about to play. He practiced full today, but all the Aaron Rodgers against Cincy.
Man, I need Jordy to sit out.
All the Aaron Rodgers against Cincy.
If there's any way that you're playing the Bengals, man, just sit out.
I wish, man. Yeah, don't even give me any little hope. Just crush me. Derek Carr against Washington.
Money.
I mean, until Derek Carr proves he's not money, I'm going to put him in here every week. Money.
Cash.
If there's any week for Cam to do something, he started off as like the most expensive quarterback on DraftKings, and now he's like middle of the pack. Well, he's still like top third. Mm-hmm. But if there's any week for him to actually do something, I know he ended up hurting his shoulder last week or whatever it was, or ankle or both. But against New Orleans, I mean, if he doesn't do nothing, I know that he lost his reliable target in Greg Olsen, which Greg Olsen never misses games. So this is probably Cam's first game, honestly, without him.
Yeah.
But if he can't do it against New Orleans, my man can't do it against anybody.
I'm hoping that goes the same for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I mean, you'll hear more from me lately on him. On the cheaper side, I mean, Kirk's cheap, and I think that's going to be a throwing game.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk's at home. I'd expect a good game out of Kirk. That passing game really hasn't gotten going yet, and I'd expect it to get going. I think Carson Wentz.
Balling right now, baby.
I think he keeps it going. I mean, I do think throughout the season you're going to see him take a step back a little bit, but until he does it, I mean, the man's throwing the ball, and he looks like,
throwing the ball 40 times a game.
Yeah, and he looks like he just wants to win. I mean, for real. Alex Smith, as long as he keeps balling, keep going with him, but against the Chargers,
a little bit rougher.
Yeah, I mean, against the Chargers, I do like the Chargers defense, but I mean, you can get Alex Smith cheap, and the man's balling. And then wanted to put him in there. I mean, Eli. You get Odell. Odell's a little healthier. I mean, yeah, he's very cheap. I mean, you got to think that offense picks it up at some point. And then also, I think Matthew Stafford against Atlanta has a good game as well.
I like a lot of those. Definitely Stafford at Atlanta. That's one I didn't pick, but I like Rodgers with the Bengals. You guys just can't handle Rodgers. No one can handle Rodgers at Lambeau. It's going to be nice.
And the only good thing is it's supposed to be like 80 plus degrees there, so at least we're not going wintertime.
Yeah, true. And then I like Cam versus the Saints. Listen, if Cam's going to get back on the elite of quarterbacks again in fantasy, it's got to happen against the Saints.
Yeah.
Sam
if
Bradford
it doesn't, he's
not
not going to be elite this year.
Yeah. And I like Carr, the Redskins. I think prime time, I think he steps up. He's just that type of player. And the Redskins' defense isn't anything special. I'm going to go with a really shocker one here, and I do not like him at all, and I never liked him. But Jay Cutler versus the Jets.
I mean, he looked good last week, honestly. He didn't look bad. He didn't actually, force anything crazy, which he usually does.
Yeah, and I feel like that's only going to last probably till this week. Probably the first drive of this week, he's going to force something. That's just going to he's going to get away with it because he's playing the Jets.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's the Jets. I mean, what can I really say? I just think with the receiving core of Landry and Parker, I think Parker's going to end up being a star.
I saw one play Parker, it looked like he was straight picked.
Yeah.
He just boom.
Yeah, he's just a monster, man. So if you want to stack Cutler just really cheap with Landry or Parker, I'd probably lean more towards Landry and PPR right now.
They seem to have a connection. I mean, what? He had 10 plus catches, 12.
He looked. A lot of people would say Parker before the season, but Landry was like, I'm still gonna get my targets.
I mean, Parker's still gonna be the guy that's gonna catch the longer and probably any touchdown.
Yeah,
Landry's never really been a touchdown guy, but I think they're both gonna be valuable this year.
Yeah. And I agree with you a lot with the quarterbacks. My running backs for this week, we're going to stay with the Miami Dolphins thing. If you want to go with Cutler and a running back, because, listen, they're going to score points against the Jets. Mm-hmm. I don't blame you for this. Jay Ajayi, I love Jay Ajayi, first off. Looked good last week, too. It's the Jets. I don't know what I really need to say there. Ty Montgomery against your Bengals.
I got him on here too.
PPR, I mean, he's just a monster in PPR.
He is, and they're looking to pass him the ball, and I mean, they're still giving him like 15 plus carries too.
And just, I mean, if you want to talk about like physique wise, last year he did not look like a running back. This year he looks
bigger,
like a running back.
I saw him actually push a guy a couple yards.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's got the muscle now. And I go CJ versus the Bills. You want to ride that hot hand a little bit. I'm sure he's cheaper than a lot of the elite running backs, and it's the Bills. The Bills just they're trying to tank, man. They're trying to tank. And the Titans backfield, which if DeMarco doesn't play, I definitely start Derrick Henry. I just think Derrick Henry's just a beast. And Carlos Hyde looked great against the Seahawks last week. So I mean, I don't know what's really going on with the Seahawks there.
I really like he came in training camp a lot like stronger, like less fat on him and stuff. Like he took being like playing this year and staying healthy serious. So if he does, I mean, if he can run for a plus 100 on the Seahawks, man.
Derrick Henry can get 102 touchdowns, I believe. I honestly do.
I like Derrick Henry a lot. I've liked him since Alabama. He just needs his chance.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, he's actually like sneaky fast and he's huge.
Yeah, and last week he looked great, and I think only got like 16 carries, maybe 92 yards, a touchdown. Listen, if he gets 20-25 against the Seahawks, which they're going to need to run the ball to keep it close, if somehow by some miracle the Seahawks offense somehow becomes good, which I probably wouldn't bank on that. But going with the Seahawks offense, I'm going to contradict myself a little bit. I'm going to go with their new running back and Chris Carson. Listen, I don't know what they're really doing in that backfield. I don't really know what
I don't think they know what they're doing.
Listen, every week it changes, but right now you kind of got to just believe that it's Chris Carson. Last week he got 20 carries. Looked good while he's doing it. Titans defense, pretty solid defense, but I think you can get your fantasy points from Chris
He's cheap
Carson.
enough that you can get points from.
Yeah, so I mean, those are my running backs. If I had to pick one that I absolutely love, though, I love Montgomery against the Bengals.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for me, too, so I'll get into the one I love. I love Ajayi. I mean, apparently he's going questionable right now, but I expect him to play. I mean, they give this man, 20-plus carries, basically, going into last year. They plan on just going through him. And, I mean, if you're going to give a running back 20-plus carries against the Jets, it's gonna equal good things happening. But anyways, like on my expensive side, I keep saying every week, one of these weeks will be right, but Le'Veon Bell against Chicago, if you do not score a touchdown against the Bears, man, this season, I don't know.
It's going to look rough for me. I've got him in like 6 leagues.
Yeah, so. I'm counting on you, bro. And then Jay Ajayi against the Jets, I like him a lot. Ty Montgomery against my Bengals, yeah, he's going to tear us up.
Yep.
Although, the Bengals defense has looked good, but we faced probably not the great offenses. And we definitely not faced Rodgers at Lambeau, for sure not. Then this goes on my thing about Carolina, these weapons that people like to start the year. If they can't get it done against New Orleans, I don't know. But I like McCaffrey against New Orleans. Caveat to that, and he's still cheaper, like on DraftKings, is taking Jonathan Stewart. Everybody sleeps on the man. Yeah. He could easily steal 2 touchdowns this game. With him on the cheaper side of Chris Carson against Tennessee. I like going for anybody cheap that you think could get 20-plus touches, and it looks like he might. Frank Gore against Cleveland. I smell a TD.
Yeah.
He's going to score a touchdown.
Reliable.
He's going to score a touchdown. And then we have to include him, and if he ends up playing this week, Rex against Houston.
Oh, man.
He got his touchdown. He got his touchdown. Our boy Rex.
We tried to tell you.
Our boy Rex.
Talk.
Our boy Rex. So, if he plays, they show that they want to include him more in the passing game. I think if Gronk's out too, they're going to have to include these running backs. James White as well. They're going to have to include these guys more in the passing game. And then another running back in that Cleveland-Indy game. This is the first game. I was actually high on Crowell to start the year because I know Hugh Jackson wants to run the ball, and they actually do have one of the better offensive lines. And I think against the Colts, they actually will be able to run the ball. And I think the game will be close on both hands just because both teams, I don't see either one pulling away from each other. So I like running backs in that game. I think Crowell could get 20-plus carries against Indy, and I could definitely see a touchdown. But I mean, the thing with Crowell is they definitely look when they're passing the ball to go to Duke Johnson more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely, and Duke Johnson had a heck of a one-handed catch last week.
Looks
too.
like more of a wide receiver right now than a running
He does,
back, too.
he does. So I mean, if they're able to run the ball, I like Crowell this